The encounter. The sky above the Zephyrian planet was a swirl of deep violet and red. Strange clouds moved like living creatures and lightning danced across the horizon, crackling with energy that made the ground tremble. Lena, a human woman far from Earth, crouched behind a jagged rock. Her heart pounded. She had never been so far from home, and the world around her felt alive and dangerous. She peered over the rock and saw them, tall, armored figures moving with incredible speed. Zephyrians. They were unlike anything Lena had ever seen. Their skin shimmered like polished metal, and their eyes glowed faintly in the dim light. They were hunters and she was prey. Lena's breathing was quick, but her mind was sharp. She had trained for situations like this, though nothing in her life had prepared her for this alien world. She knew she had to escape, but the terrain was unfamiliar and the Zephyrian sensors could detect movement from miles away. Suddenly, a shadow fell over her. Lena froze. A Zephyrian had found her. He was tall, even among his kind, with broad shoulders and a face that was both sharp and striking. His glowing eyes locked onto hers. "You are human," he said, his voice deep but calm. "Yes," Lena replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "And I'm not here to fight anyone." The alien tilted his head. "Humans are not strong, not fit for breeding. You are too big, too different." His words were not cruel, but they carried a heavy weight. Lena's jaw tightened. "My body's too big, human. I'm not breeding material." She spoke firmly, her voice echoing in the strange air. She would not let him see fear. Not yet. The Zephyrian's eyes narrowed, but instead of attacking, he studied her closely. There was something in his gaze, curiosity, maybe even respect. Lena did not trust it. She had learned the hard way that alien curiosity often ended badly for humans. "You defy the rules," he said. "And yet, I find myself drawn to your strength." Lena's heart skipped a beat. She should have been terrified, but instead she was confused. Most Zephyrians treated humans with disdain. Few noticed them at all. And yet, this one, he was different. Before Lena could speak, a warning siren blared from the nearby outpost. Other Zephyrians were closing in. She knew she had seconds to act. With a sudden burst of energy, Lena darted across the rocky terrain. Her muscles burned, but she was fast. Faster than any human could ever hope to be. The tall Zephyrian followed, not with the aggression of the others, but with a controlled, deliberate speed. He did not shout, did not fire, did not try to capture her immediately. He simply followed, his glowing eyes never leaving hers. Lena dodged between rocks and leapt over jagged cliffs. Her mind raced. Why was he helping her? Why wasn't he trying to stop her? Questions swirled in her mind even as danger pressed close behind. Finally, she reached the edge of a deep ravine. She paused, panting. There was no way forward unless she jumped. Below, the ground seemed impossibly far, but she had no choice. She clenched her fists, focused, and leapt. A moment later, she hit the ground hard, rolling to absorb the impact. Pain shot through her legs, but she was alive. As she looked up, she saw him, Cairo, the Zephyrian who had followed her. He had stopped at the edge of the ravine. His eyes glowed softly, almost caring. "You are brave," he said quietly, "and foolish." "But brave," Lena glared at him. "Why are you not like the others? Why are you letting me live?" Cairo said nothing. He only studied her for a long moment. Then without a word he turned and walked away, leaving her in the alien wilderness. Lena sank to the ground, trembling from adrenaline and confusion. She had survived, for now, but something told her this was only the beginning. Somewhere out there, the tall Zephyrian Cairo was watching, waiting, and Lena realized with a shiver that her life would never be the same again. The struggle, Lena's legs ached, but she didn't stop. The alien wilderness stretched endlessly before her, twisting cliffs, jagged rocks, and glowing plants that pulsed with faint light. Every shadow seemed alive. She had survived the Zephyrian patrol, but she knew danger was far from over. Behind her, she could feel it, Cairo's presence. She didn't know why, but she sensed he was still there. She slowed, listening. There was no sound except the hum of strange insects and the distant rumble of alien storms. "This is insane," she muttered to herself, brushing sweat from her forehead. Why did he follow me? Why didn't he just stop me? The memory of his eyes, the glow, the curiosity, the hint of something softer, haunted her. She shook her head. No, she couldn't trust him, not yet. Not when every Zephyrian she had seen hunted humans without mercy. She moved carefully, climbing over a rocky ridge. Suddenly, the ground beneath her shifted. Lena froze. The cliffside trembled and rocks began to fall. She had stumbled into a trap, a collapsing slope triggered by alien tech. Panic surged. She ran, leaping over jagged stones as the rocks crashed behind her. But a massive boulder blocked her path. Trapped. Her heart raced, and she knew there was only one way forward. Through the boulder's shadow, into the unknown. Then a voice, low and calm, cut through the chaos. Careful, Lena's eyes widened. Cairo stepped from the shadows, his long limbs moving like liquid. In one smooth motion, he shoved the boulder slightly aside, creating a narrow escape path. Lena hesitated, wary. Why are you helping me? She demanded, voice trembling. I don't even know your name. Cairo, he said simply. And I see something in you. Something different. Something they cannot understand. She narrowed her eyes. Different? I'm just human. Weak. You are not weak, he said, his voice steady, almost hypnotic. You are strong. Braver than most of us. That is why you survive. For a moment, Lena didn't know what to say. There was something in Cairo's words that felt honest, even genuine. And yet she couldn't let her guard down, not here, not with a Zephyrian. Suddenly, a loud shriek pierced the air. Lena spun around. A pack of Zephyrian hunters was closing in. Their weapons glowed, aiming directly at her. Run, Cairo commanded. They sprinted together, Lena's human agility blending with Cairo's alien speed. He moved with precision, shielding her from traps and guiding her through hidden paths. For a human, keeping up with a Zephyrian would have been impossible. But Lena had strength and endurance the others underestimated. As they reached a narrow canyon, Lena stumbled. She fell hard, scraping her hands on the rocky ground. Before she could get up, Cairo's strong hand grabbed her wrist and pulled her upright. Their eyes met, and for a moment words were unnecessary. The danger was real. The connection was undeniable. Why are you risking everything for me? She asked, breathless. Cairo looked away, his jaw tight. Because I choose to, not because I have to. The statement hung in the air like a challenge. Lena didn't know whether to trust it or fear it. They paused at the edge of the canyon, looking down at a river of molten energy far below. Crossing it would be dangerous, but it was the only path forward. Lena swallowed hard. The survival instinct in her screamed to turn back, but she had no choice. Cairo extended his hand. Take it, he said. Hesitation gripped her, but something inside Lena, the spark of defiance and trust, made her reach out. Their hands met. In that moment, Lena felt something she had never felt before. A fragile alliance, maybe even hope in a world built for enemies. They jumped together, landing safely on the other side, bruised but alive. The molten river rumbled beneath them, threatening to swallow the world. Lena looked at Cairo, realizing that whatever he was, whatever his motives, he had saved her. Not just her life, but perhaps her chance to survive it all. And deep down, she knew that the struggle was only beginning. Unlikely alliance. The alien forest stretched endlessly, glowing faintly under the purple and orange sky. Strange vines hung like silent snakes, and the ground pulsed softly, as if the planet itself was alive. Lena moved carefully, her senses alert. Every rustle of leaves or crack of a branch made her jump. She had survived the patrol in the molten river, but she knew that Zephyrian hunters would not give up so easily. Beside her, Cairo moved with a predator's grace. His eyes scanned the environment constantly, and every muscle in his body was ready for action. Lena had to admit he was not just strong. He was amazing to watch in motion, but trust was still a fragile thing between them. She didn't know if he would betray her or save her again. We need to keep moving, Cairo said quietly. His voice had a calm authority that Lena couldn't ignore. There is a safe place nearby. I know it. Safe? Lena raised an eyebrow. Safe for who? You or me? Cairo's jaw tightened. Both. If we stay here, the patrol will find us, and then... You won't survive. Lena considered running on her own, but the truth was simple. She needed him. He knew the land, the traps, the dangers of Zephyrian territory, and if she stayed with him, she had a better chance to survive. They moved in silence, stepping carefully over glowing roots and through narrow passages between rocks. The forest was alive with strange creatures, some floating in the air, others slithering on the ground, their eyes reflecting faint light. Lena had fought before, but these beings were different. unpredictable, dangerous. Suddenly, a low growl echoed through the trees. Lena froze. A creature larger than any she had seen emerged from the shadows. Its body shimmered like liquid metal, and its eyes glowed a menacing red. "Stay behind me," Cairo said, moving between Lena and the creature. The creature lunged. Lena instinctively rolled and grabbed a heavy branch. Cairo moved like lightning, striking the creature with precise blows. Lena swung the branch, hitting its glowing limbs. Together they fought, their movements almost instinctively synchronized, though Lena barely knew him. When the creature finally collapsed, Cairo stepped back, breathing heavily. "You are strong. Braver than most Zephyrians," he said. Lena frowned. "Why do you keep saying that? Humans are nothing compared to your kind." Cairo shook his head. "You don't understand. Strength isn't just about power. It's about courage, survival, and choices. You have all three." For a moment, Lena felt something she had never felt before, respect from a Zephyrian. It was strange, even confusing. She wanted to be cautious, yet part of her wondered if Cairo really was different from the others. The forest grew darker as night approached, but Cairo led them to a small clearing surrounded by luminescent rocks. "Here we rest," he said. "For now the patrol will not find us." Lena collapsed onto the soft moss, exhaustion washing over her. She had trusted him enough to survive so far, but the thought of what lay ahead made her uneasy. Could a Zephyrian really be an ally? Or was this just another trap? Cairo sat nearby, keeping watch. Lena glanced at him. There was a strange tension in his posture. He was alert yet calm. "Why are you helping me?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he looked at the alien sky, the glowing clouds reflecting in his eyes. Finally, he said, "Because we have a common enemy." "And because I choose to." Lena's heart skipped. His words carried weight. There was a strange honesty in them, something she hadn't expected. She didn't reply. Words felt useless, but for the first time in a long while, she felt a flicker of hope that maybe, just maybe, survival was possible. As the night deepened, strange noises echoed from the forest, and the wind carried distant alien cries. Lena knew the journey ahead would be dangerous. But with Cairo by her side, she realized something incredible. They might just survive together. And somewhere deep inside, Lena felt the first spark of something even more unexpected. A fragile trust, and perhaps the beginning of a bond that could change everything. Growing connection. The alien forest was quieter now, but the air still hummed with unseen energy. Strange plants glowed faintly, casting eerie shadows across the ground. Lena sat on a soft patch of moss, rubbing her sore arms and legs. The fight with the metal-eyed creature had taken its toll, but the real challenge was still ahead. Cairo crouched nearby, scanning the trees. His glowing eyes moved with precision, catching every movement. Lena watched him, feeling something she hadn't expected, admiration mixed with unease. He was so calm, so controlled, yet powerful beyond imagination. She had survived so far only because he had guided her, protected her, and fought beside her. "You trust me more than you admit," Cairo said quietly, almost as if reading her mind. "I trust you enough to not kill me," Lena replied sharply, then frowned. "But don't get used to me being soft." Cairo let out a soft laugh. It was low, almost human, and it made Lena's chest tighten. She quickly looked away, trying to hide the effect it had on her. They moved again, this time carefully navigating through a dense part of the forest. The ground shifted under their feet, strange vines wrapping around roots and rocks. Every step required attention, and every sound could mean danger. As they walked, Lena began to notice small things about Cairo. The way he moved silently, the way he observed every detail of the world around him, and the way he seemed to anticipate trouble before it happened. There was intelligence there, not just instinct. And there was something else, something she couldn't name. "Cairo," she said finally, breaking the silence. "Why are you really helping me? It can't just be because of survival. Your people, they don't care about humans." He stopped and looked at her. His glowing eyes softened, and Lena caught a flicker of something. Empathy, maybe even pain. "Humans are weak," he admitted. "Most of them are, but you are different. You remind me of someone I once knew, someone who taught me that strength isn't measured by size or power. It's measured by courage, by heart." Lena's breath caught. She didn't know what to say. Most aliens didn't see humans at all. much less notice qualities like courage. But Cairo, this alien who was stronger, faster, and completely unlike her, saw her. They reached a small clearing where the alien sky was visible above the trees. Stars glimmered in strange patterns, and a gentle wind carried the scent of glowing flowers. Lena sat down on a rock, exhausted. Cairo sat beside her, his presence calm yet commanding. "You could stay here," Lena said, voice quiet. "You don't have to keep going with me. You have your own world, your own rules." He shook his head. "And leave you to face the patrol? No, not after what I've seen. You are stronger than most of my people, Lena, and you deserve a chance, like everyone deserves a chance to live freely." For the first time, Lena felt something shift inside her. She realized that her fear was mingling with something new, trust, maybe even connection. She didn't fully understand it yet, but it was there, undeniable. Suddenly, the wind picked up, carrying faint alien cries from the distance. Cairo's body tensed, his eyes scanning the horizon. Lena's hand instinctively went to her weapon, but she noticed Cairo's calm strength. Somehow, being near him made the danger feel manageable. "Whatever happens," Cairo said softly, "we face it together. I will not leave you behind." Lena swallowed hard. She didn't know if she could fully trust him yet, but she knew she needed him. Survival had brought them together, but something deeper was starting to grow. A fragile bond formed from shared struggle, trust, and respect. As they rested under the glowing alien sky, Lena felt a strange warmth in her chest. She realized that this alien, this being from a world that hated humans, had become her ally, and maybe something more. But the forest was vast, the night was long, and danger was still out there. And Lena knew that their growing connection would soon be tested in ways neither of them could imagine. The crisis. The alien dawn broke with a soft violet light that barely touched the jagged edges of the forest. Lena awoke first, muscles sore and eyes heavy, but her mind was alert. Cairo was already awake, scanning the surroundings with those glowing eyes, alert and watchful. They had survived so far, but Lena knew the real danger had only begun. "They are coming," Cairo said suddenly, his voice low but firm. "The elders have discovered us. They know I helped you escape." Lena's stomach tightened. She had known this moment would come, but hearing it made the threat real. "Elders? You mean the council of your people?" "Yes," Cairo replied. "They will not forgive what I did. You are considered breeding material for the Zephyrian programs, and I have broken the rules by protecting you." Fear prickled along Lena's spine. She had survived hunters, wild creatures, and alien traps. But the council, they were different. They were law, power, and authority all in one. And now Cairo had made himself a target. "Then what do we do?" Lena asked, trying to keep her voice steady. Cairo's eyes narrowed. "We fight or we run, and this time we must do both." They left the forest clearing quickly, moving through narrow alien valleys where the light barely reached the ground. The air was thick, almost electric, and Lena felt her nerves jump with every sound. Shadows moved with strange shapes as if the planet itself were watching them. Suddenly the ground vibrated. A patrol of Zephyrians emerged ahead, their glowing weapons trained on them. Lena froze for a split second before Cairo grabbed her arm. "Now!" he shouted. Together they sprinted through the uneven terrain. Cairo moved like a shadow, fast and precise, shielding Lena from blasts of energy fired by the patrol. Lena's human agility allowed her to dodge traps, dive under falling rocks, and climb jagged cliffs with surprising speed. But the patrol was relentless. More Zephyrians poured from hidden pathways surrounding them. Lena's heart pounded. She had survived countless dangers, but this was overwhelming. "We cannot outrun them forever," Lena gasped. Cairo stopped suddenly, turning to face the approaching enemies. "Then we fight," he said, his voice steady, almost defiant. His body glowed faintly as he unleashed a series of precise strikes, disabling the patrol members one by one with speed Lena could hardly follow. Lena joined him, using a fallen branch as a weapon, swinging with all her strength. Though human, her blows landed with force, surprising both her and the Zephyrians. Side by side, human and alien fought in perfect instinctive coordination. But then a loud horn echoed across the valley. The elders themselves were coming, larger and stronger than any patrol Lena had faced. Panic surged. Cairo grabbed her hand. "We cannot stay. Follow me." They ran toward a narrow canyon, the molten river from before glowing below. Lena's heart raced. If they fell, they would die. If they stayed, the elders would capture them. There was only one choice. At the canyon's edge, Lena looked down, fear gripping her. "We can't, trust me," Cairo shouted, taking her hand in his. Together they leapt. Lena felt her body fly through the air, fear and adrenaline mixing as the canyon seemed to stretch endlessly below. They landed hard, rolling across the rocky surface. Pain shot through her legs, but they were alive. Cairo's eyes met hers, glowing softly. "You are stronger than you think," he said. Breathing heavily, Lena nodded, feeling a mix of relief and dread. They had survived this wave of attack, but she knew the elders would not stop. They would hunt them endlessly, and Cairo's defiance had placed them both in even greater danger. Lena's hand brushed against his as they stood among the alien rocks. A silent acknowledgement passed between them. They were bound together now by survival, trust, and something more. And in that moment, Lena realized the truth. This was no longer just about escaping. It was about fighting for their lives, for freedom, and for a bond that the galaxy itself seemed determined to challenge. The choice. The alien winds howled across the jagged cliffs as Lena and Cairo crouched behind a broken rock formation. The molten river glowed below them, casting flickering shadows across the terrain. Every step they had taken to escape the Zephyrian elders had been calculated, but now the danger was closer than ever. Lena could hear distant shouts, the unmistakable sound of the elders commanding their forces. Cairo's glowing eyes scanned the horizon. He had been quiet for a long moment, and Lena could sense the weight of the decision he carried. He had defied his own people to save her, and now that defiance had made them both targets. "We cannot outrun them forever," Lena said, her voice tight with worry. "They'll catch us, Cairo. What do we do?" Cairo took a deep breath. "We fight, but more than that. We must choose." "I must choose?" Lena looked at him, confused. "Choose what?" His gaze met hers, steady and intense. "Between following my people or following my heart. And right now, my heart tells me to protect you." Lena's pulse quickened. His words carried a weight she could feel in her chest. Most aliens would never have chosen a human over their own laws. But Cairo, he had made the impossible choice. Suddenly, the first patrols of the elders appeared at the cliff's edge, glowing weapons raised. Lena tightened her grip on a jagged rock, ready to defend herself. But Cairo stepped forward, holding his hands wide. His glow intensified, a warning to the approaching elders. "I will not let you touch her," he shouted, his voice carrying across the canyon. "She is under my protection!" A tense silence fell. The elders stopped, their glowing eyes narrowing. Cairo's defiance was dangerous, it could cost him everything. But he did not waver. Lena felt something stir inside her. Fear mixed with awe, and slowly a new emotion. Trust, and perhaps something deeper. She realized how much she depended on him, not just for survival, but for the courage to face impossible odds. The elders hesitated, then attacked. Energy blasts rained down, and Lena ducked behind Cairo, who shielded her with his body. They moved together, instinctively in sync, dodging, leaping, and fighting with precision. Lena struck with her strength, Cairo with his alien speed and power. In the chaos, a blast knocked Lena off her feet, sending her sliding dangerously close to the edge of the molten river. She froze, terror gripping her. The current below looked unstoppable. "Cairo," she screamed. He dove, catching her wrist just in time, pulling her back to safety. They both tumbled to the rocky ground, breathing heavily. Lena's heart raced, pounding not just from fear, but from the undeniable closeness between them. "You saved me," she whispered, almost in disbelief. "I will always save you," Cairo said, his voice low, almost tender. "Even if it means defying my people completely." The elders regrouped, their numbers overwhelming. But Cairo grabbed Lena's hand, his grip firm and reassuring. "We run now. Together. No matter what comes next." They sprinted into the alien wilderness, leaving the glowing cliffs behind. The elders' shouts echoed in the distance. But Lena felt something new. Hope, trust, and the strength that came from standing beside someone who truly cared. Hours later, they reached a hidden valley, isolated and protected by jagged rocks and alien plants. Lena sank to the ground, exhausted, and Cairo stood over her, glowing softly in the dim light. "You chose me," Lena said softly, her voice trembling. "Yes," Cairo replied simply, "and I would choose you again every time, even if it cost me everything." Lena looked at him, realizing fully the bond they shared, one forged in danger, trust, and mutual respect. And somewhere deep inside, she knew that their connection had changed everything. But even as the night settled over the valley, a new, unexpected truth began to form in Lena's mind. Something she could feel in her body. Something that would change the stakes of their journey forever. This was no longer just about survival. It was about the future, their future together. A new beginning. The hidden valley was quiet, bathed in the soft glow of alien plants. The molten river's distant glow reflected off the jagged rocks, painting the landscape in warm shades of orange and violet. Lina and Cairo crouched together, their breaths heavy from the chase and battle, but the air around them was strangely calm. For the first time in weeks, they were safe, at least for now. Lina leaned back against a rock, exhaustion and relief washing over her. Her mind was still racing, replaying every near-death moment, every risk Cairo had taken to save her. She looked at him, glowing softly in the dim light, and felt a strange warmth in her chest, a connection that went far beyond survival. "Cairo," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. "I never thought that I could feel this safe. With an alien. With you." Cairo's eyes softened, his glowing gaze locking onto hers. "And I never thought I would care for a human the way I care for you." His voice was quiet, almost hesitant, but filled with a strange sincerity that made Lena's heart race. For a moment, silence stretched between them. Then Lena felt something strange in her body, a fluttering sensation, small but undeniable. Her hands instinctively went to her abdomen and her breath caught. "Cairo," she said, a mixture of shock and wonder in her voice. I think I'm pregnant." Cairo froze, his glowing eyes widening. Then he stepped closer, placing a careful hand over hers. "Pregnant?" he repeated, almost as if saying it aloud made it real. Lena nodded, her eyes wide. I didn't expect this. I wasn't ready for this. But it's happening." For a long moment, they simply stared at each other. The valley around them seemed to fade, leaving only the two of them and the fragile life forming between them. Cairo's hand tightened gently over hers. "This changes everything," he said softly. "Not in a bad way. But everything will be different. We have to protect you. Protect the child. And survive." Lena nodded, feeling a mixture of fear, hope, and determination. She realized that this child, half human, half Zephyrian, was more than a life. It was a bridge between their worlds, a possibility for unity and change. They spent the rest of the day preparing the valley as a temporary safe haven. Cairo moved with careful precision, scouting the surroundings and setting subtle traps for any patrols that might follow. Lena helped where she could, her strength surprising even herself. Together they worked in silence, a quiet understanding passing between them. As the alien sun dipped below the horizon, the valley glowed in shades of violet and orange. Lena sat on a rock, cradling her abdomen, and Cairo knelt beside her. "We've survived so much already," he said quietly. "And now?" "We have a new reason to keep going. For both of us." Lena smiled faintly, her hand brushing his. "I never imagined that survival could lead to this. To hope. To family." Cairo's eyes glowed softly in response. "Hope is what we make of it, Lena. We've fought the impossible, defied the rules, and survived. This child is proof that even in a galaxy full of danger, love and courage can create something new." The alien night settled over the valley. Strange creatures moved silently in the shadows, and the wind carried faint alien whispers, as if the planet itself recognized the new beginning. Lena rested her head against Cairo's shoulder, feeling his warmth and strength. And in that moment, she knew that no matter what challenges awaited, no matter what dangers the elders or the galaxy might bring, they would face it together. Their bond had survived battles, fear, and uncertainty, and now it would carry them into a future full of possibilities. The stars above shimmered like a promise, and Lena felt a quiet peace she had never known before. For the first time in her life, she believed in the impossible. She believed in survival, in love, and in the new life that had begun. This was not just an ending. It was a beginning. A new chapter for Lena, for Cairo, and for the child they would protect. A hope for a world that might one day accept them both.